So have you ever known that a certain way that you think is wrong, but you're not sure how to change it? Well, today we talk about how. Hello and welcome to Living Life Strong, where I give you tips on how you can happen to your life instead of allowing your life to happen to you. And so a lot of times in our lives, we recognize that there are certain thought patterns that we have that are not healthy for us. And yet it's very difficult to change those things. Maybe it's because, habitually you've always had that thought pattern. Maybe you've just now figured out that, wow, that may not be the healthiest way to think. Things may not be turning out the way that you want them to, and you recognize that your thought patterns might be the source of that pain in your life. Or maybe it's something new. It's something that's come up and you're not sure where it came from, but you have begun to think these particular thoughts and you know they're not healthy for you. It could be negative self-talk. It could be thoughts of temptation, thoughts of hatred, unforgiveness. But whenever thoughts come into our mind and we recognize those as things that we shouldn't be thinking and we don't even want to think, then the next question automatically becomes, how do we get rid of those thoughts? What do we do with those negative thoughts that we know are actually damaging us or maybe even damaging those around us? And so the first thing that we have to understand is how to separate our emotions from our thoughts. Although they play on each other quite a bit, they are two separate things. You see, your emotions, they come and go, and they're very hard to control, and you probably can't even control them. And so you could be angry at somebody, you could be hurt, you could be super excited, you could fall in love. All of these emotions are things that usually come and go, and there's not a whole lot of control that we have over them. So I used to have a mentor that used to say it like this, is that you can't control what birds fly over your head, but you can control which ones make a nest in your hair. And so what he was talking about is that emotions are going to come and go, temptations are going to come and go, all of that kind of stuff, but we have to learn to control our thought life in order to not let those things make a nest in our hair, as he put it. So the question is, how do we do that? So if we can't control emotions that evoke thought, how do we actually control what we think? And so the key here is that you cannot stop thinking about something. I could say, stop thinking about purple elephants. And of course, what did you just think about? It's purple elephants. And so you can't create a vacuum in your mind. You can't just stop thinking about anything. And so it's that we have to replace thoughts with other thoughts. And so if you have been in a negative thought pattern for a long period of time, you've created a habit, maybe you've dug a trench in your thought life, and it's harder to get out the longer that you've thought that way. But the good news is that you can get out of that because you can reprogram your thought life, and you do that by replacing negative thought with positive thoughts. And Romans 12:2, it actually does a great job at really just boiling this down for us. It says, don't conform any longer to the pattern of this world. You see, the world has a pattern. It's going to tell you that, unforgiveness is okay if the offense was bad enough. God's going to tell you something totally different. The world's going to say an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Jesus is going to tell you something very, very different from that. So it says, don't conform to this pattern of this world. And our thinking sometimes has become a pattern. But be transformed, which means be recreated, brand new, a metamorphosis, that you are transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that renewing of your mind is what I'm talking about. It's where you take thoughts that are unhealthy for you, that you recognize them as unhealthy, and then you find scriptures and you repeat those scriptures over top of these negative thoughts. And so if you're struggling in any area, you can find scriptures. You can simply do a web search, scriptures on blank, and then you begin to write those down on index cards on your phone as reminders throughout the day, and that you begin to reprogram your negative thinking. And when you do that, you begin to change the way that you think. And if you do that, then the course and the direction of your life will begin to change. So, what negative thoughts, what negative things do you have in your mind that you need to change? And what can you do about it? What scriptures can you meditate on in order to change the direction of your thought life? Have a great day and live life strong.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow Living Word on social media. We post content each and every week, and you don't want to miss out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and our Instagram, and make sure to turn on notifications for all three, so you'll receive the latest news, updates, and content right at your fingertips.